Chapter 11. I'm awoken by a blow on the head. What the hell was that? It seems to be open season on my poor head.
I'm sorry, Leopold, John says apologetically. I'm afraid I dropped a fork.
It's lying next to me on the big white pillow. John is standing over me holding a large serving tray with the palm of one hand. I smell fried eggs, hot chocolate, tea, coffee, toast, jam, marmalade, fried tomatoes, and yes, bangers and baked beans. With his other hand, John uncovers a dish, takes something from it, and hands it to me. It's a beautiful, well-cooked banger. I know you're on a diet, but what Madam doesn't see, Madam doesn't know. I don't stand on ceremony. I snatch it from his hand with my forepaw, devour it, then jump down from the chair and rub against his legs, going between and around them as if tracing a figure 8. That's a good cat. I'm forgiven for dropping a fork on your head, right? Meow. John knocks on the bedroom door. Come in, Elena says. Carefully carrying the tray, he turns the handle with his free hand, opens the door, and goes in. Good morning, madam. Good morning, sir. I sneak into the bedroom behind him. Elena and the high priest are in bed. John puts the tray down on a round table by the window, then draws the curtains. Sunlight comes rushing in. What the high priest says in a sleepy voice. He doesn't get a chance to finish his curse because Elena elbows him in the side. John sets the table for breakfast. Would madam like me to pour her tea? He asks when he's finished. Thank you, John. I'll take care of it. As you wish, madam. When John leaves, I ask Elena if it's all right to wake up the little pharaoh, whose crib is next to her side of the big bed. Yes, of course. Alexander will be thrilled to see you. He's missed you. I stand upright at the foot of the crib. The little pharaoh is sleeping with a smile on his face. What's he dreaming about? Pulling on my tail, perhaps? I stick it through the slats and tickle his little feet with the tip. He begins to laugh, and I'm brought back to ancient Egypt. I tickled his feet when I woke up in his bed for the first time. So much has happened since that day. Then the pharaoh was like a brother to me. I'm grateful to have him back as a child, but I can't help remembering him the way he was. Pain brings me back to the present. The little pharaoh is yanking on my tail. I pull myself free and jump onto the breakfast table, where Elena and the high priest are sitting and sipping from thin white porcelain cups. I butter a piece of toast, take a spoonful of jam, and plop it on top. Delicious. Oh, really, Rappahamen, says Elena. Where are your manners? I'm a normal cat, remember? Have you ever seen a normal cat butter himself a piece of toast and spread jam on it? She asked the high priest. No, he replies. After giving the matter more thought, he adds, but then I have never seen a cat eat the way Rappahamen does. I give up, Elena says. Good. I stick a spoon into the bowl of baked beans and shovel a large helping into my mouth. Next, I dig my claw into a banger, lift it to my mouth, and bite off a piece. Then I alternate between spoonfuls of baked beans and bites of the banger. Delicious. Even Elena's disapproving looks can't dampen my appetite. That's enough, she says, taking me by the scruff of the neck and trying to lift me off the table. And I mean trying. She lets go of my neck. Oh, hell, I can't budge him. He's too fat. With no hope that Elena will let me resume breakfast, I decide to take a look outside. I jump from the table to the windowsill. The window is open, and a light breeze runs through my fur, removing the last of the night's torpor. Now fully awake, I look at the enchanting view. The house we're staying in is part of a group of houses set in a semicircle. The shape of the street and the green field across the road reminds me of Stonehenge, with its stone circles and surrounding greenery. I can't wait to show you and Rappahamen the city, Elena says excitedly. I have just remembered, says the high priest. My clothing and his carrier bag are still in the attic. You can go and retrieve your stuff when John leaves for his morning jog. My tail is being tugged again, and I turn to see the little pharaoh sitting on Elena's lap, chewing happily. In one hand he holds my poor tail, and in the other a half-eaten banger. I hope he doesn't confuse them. I'd better keep on the alert. That's the front door closing, Elena says. Do you see John outside? She asks me. Yes, I do. Wearing a t-shirt, short pants, and sneakers, he's running briskly down the street. I had better go to the attic, says the high priest, getting up. When he sees I'm not moving, he asks,
Leo, I mean Rappahamon, are you not going to help me? Humph, the nerve. Did he side with me against Elena last night? Did he say to her that making me sleep in the hallway on a pillow was vile? No! The pusillanimous high priest kept quiet and got a good night's sleep in a nice bedroom in a comfortable bed while I slept in the hall on a pillow. Let him carry his own bags. Besides, I've better things to do than schlep luggage around. Snooping, for instance. I go over to the door and wait for him to open it. Of course I could do it myself, but I can make a quicker exit if he does it for me. When the door opens, I get down on all fours and run out into the hall, tail on high. I hide behind a half-column holding the bronze bust of a mustached fellow. "Where are you, you lazy old cat?" the high priest calls. His footsteps are getting closer. He stops by the column. I make myself as small as possible. And after wasting his breath on some more name-calling, he walks away. From my hiding place, I watch him hurry to the little door to the servants' stairs, open it, and start walking up to the attic. Good riddance. There are doors to my left and my right, and I intend to find out what's behind them. I get up on my hind legs, leave my hiding place, go over to the door closest to me, and push the handle down. When the door doesn't open, I push harder. It's locked. I try the next door. Much to my surprise and displeasure, this one is also locked. 2 minutes later, I'm quite angry. I've tried all the doors on the floor, except for the door to Elena and the high priest's bedroom, of course, only to discover they're all locked. What kind of home is it that locks its doors against snoopers, guests? I feel I'm being watched. Maybe it's what the humans call a guilty conscience, or maybe it's just all these portraits lining the walls. One is of a woman in a garden. She's beautiful. Her pose is relaxed. She wears her hair loose. It's dark and wavy like the wig of an ancient Egyptian woman. A silk ribbon encircles her head. Her dress is low-cut, and a thin ribbon gathers the folds under her breasts. The material is a light blue silk that shines like silver and looks as smooth as ice. One of the woman's hands rests on an urn sitting on a marble pedestal. The other is beside her thigh and holds a fan of feathers. The bottom of the frame has a name written on it, Gainsborough. I study the other portraits, but my thoughts go back to the Gainsborough. Something is troubling me about that painting, but I can't quite put my paw on it. I hear heavy footsteps. It must be the high priest with the luggage. I scurry back to my hiding place behind the column. He has a piece of luggage in each hand, and my carrier bag is hanging from his neck. As soon as he passes me and goes into the bedroom, I descend the grand staircase to the ground floor. The main hallway is covered by big black and white tiles waxed to a mirror finish. I pass a huge fireplace. A fire has been lit, and the waves of warmth are comforting. When I come to a door that's ajar, I give it a push and enter. I'm in a library, and when the high priest sees it, he'll be green with envy. Shelves filled with books, most of them leather-bound, go up to the ceiling. It's the biggest library I've ever seen, surpassing his papyrus collection in ancient Egypt and Elena's library in New York. Heavy curtains cover the windows, and the darkness, along with the silence, makes me feel as if I were in a temple. I'm thinking that this is a good place to meditate on what's been troubling me about the portrait upstairs, when someone gets up from the high-backed leather chair I'm standing behind. I almost be pissed myself. "You lazy cat," a figure says, keeping its back to me. "I have been wondering how long it would take you to get down here." I've come even closer to be pissing myself, but as I'm about to lose control of my bladder, I recognize the voice. It's the high priest. How did you get down here before I did?" "Calm yourself," he says, turning around. "I took the secret passage." "What secret passage?" "If I told you, it would no longer be a secret." I'm bursting with curiosity. "I promise I won't tell anybody." If I remember correctly, no one helped me carry the luggage from the attic to the bedroom. "I was just thinking of your health," I say, trying my best to sound sincere. "You have a bit of a stomach. I thought some exercise would do you good." He clears his throat and asks, "Is it very noticeable?" No, only to a keen eye like mine." "Elena has a keen eye. Do you think she has noticed it?" His voice is trembling. "Not that I know of, but I'm sure Elena would love you anyway." Is that a bead of sweat I see on his forehead? "Rappahamon, you must tell me the truth. Did Elena say I was getting fat? If I remember correctly, you said there's a secret passage in the house. You win. It's behind the mirrored wall in the bedroom. How did you find it? The high priest doesn't answer. Okay, Elena has never mentioned your stomach to me. He breathes a sigh of relief. It was pure chance, he explains. In the middle of the night, I suddenly woke up. I saw a pale light coming from underneath the mirrored wall and heard faint footsteps behind it. Were you scared? Just curious. I got out of bed, careful not to wake Elena, and looked for a hidden door in the wall. I found a small lever behind a curtain. When I turned it, a narrow door opened. Was anyone there? No, and there was complete darkness. John had shown us a box of candles and matches he left on top of the dresser in case of a power failure. I lit a candle and went through the door to a small landing with a locked door and a descending stairway that led me to a wall. When I touched it, it gave way, and I found myself here in the library. Where in the library exactly? Over there, he says, pointing to a large marble fireplace. I had to crouch a little to get through. Then the wall closed behind me. When I pushed it, it opened again. Why didn't you say something this morning to Elena and me? I did not want her to know I had spent the night in the library reading. You know how she feels about everyone getting enough sleep. But what about me? You gave me no chance. I was going to tell you when we left to get the luggage, but you disappeared into thin air. I can't argue with that. When you got back to the bedroom with the luggage, didn't Elena see you disappear behind the wall? No, she was bathing Alexander. If she had seen me, she would have followed me, even if it meant taking Alexander with her. He's right. Elena's as big a snoop as he is, or as I am. So what were you reading that kept you here all night? Most of these books deal with ancient Egyptian history. I read some of them. Why would you want to read about ancient Egypt? We come from there. There are many things I do not know about our history. Besides, I like to read theories modern man has about us. Some of them are quite amusing. The lady of the house wrote to Elena that she was interested in Egyptology and had lived in Egypt. When she comes back, you can have conversations with her. I cannot quite put my finger on it, but something is not what it seems to be. I know how you feel. Have you looked at the portraits in the hall upstairs? Only briefly, when I went to get the luggage and when I came back carrying it. Is he ever going to stop reminding me of my disappearing act? Well, there's something about one that bothers me. I hear the front door open and close, then heavy breathing. I think John has returned, I say, immediately getting down on all fours. When he reaches the open door of the library, he stops to look inside. He's red in the face and sweating. Mr. Know-all, I trust you like Madame's library. I find it quite interesting. I go over to John and rub against his bare, hairy legs. It doesn't bother me that they're wet. He bends down and pets me on the back. His hand is warm. Is there anything I can do for you, sir? No, John. I am fine. Then I'll go and take my shower. He bows his head slightly before leaving. A nice fellow, I remark, and someone who takes good care of his body. Not a trace of a protruding stomach on him. We should get back to Elena, the high priest says curtly. She must be wondering what has happened to us. You had better stay down on your fours. Why? Who's going to see me in this secret passage? First, we are not going up that way. We are taking the main staircase. Second, John might make use of the secret passage. I do not know who was in there last night before I discovered the lever that opened the door. And third, Elena would learn of his existence when she saw us come through the hidden door, and I still do not want her to know about it. Why not? If I want to read at night, I can do so without her giving me a sermon about it. We go out into the hall, up the main staircase, and into the bedroom. Where did you get to? Elena asks us. She doesn't give us a chance to make up a lie, so we say nothing. And where is John? He promised me he'd take care of Alexander while we were out. As if on cue, there's a knock on the door. Elena says, "Come in," and John appears. He cuts quite a figure dressed in a white shirt, thin black tie, long-tailed black jacket, gray vest and pants. "Oh, there you are, John," Elena says, looking embarrassed. "We'll be going then." John scoops up the little pharaoh and sets him on his shoulder. The pharaoh would scoop me up and plant me on his shoulders,
so the crowds of people gathered to pay him honor would see me too. At such moments, I felt I was in heaven.
Hee! Alexander is crying in delight. Put Leopold in his carrier bag, Jack, Elena tells the high priest, who takes me by the scruff of the neck and drops me in the bag. That might be how one handles a normal cat, and I know the high priest is treating me like one for John's benefit, but I don't like it. If Madame doesn't require me, John says, I'll take my leave. Sorry, John. Of course you may go. Elena raises a hand to the little pharaoh's cheek. You be a good little boy while Mommy and Daddy are gone. Mama, Dada, good boy. John leaves, closing the door behind him. I hear the muffled sound of the pharaoh saying, Good boy, good boy. I don't like being taken by the scruff of the neck, I tell the high priest. I had no choice with John here, he replies. You enjoyed it. Now, Elena says. You're acting like children. Stop it. He started it, I say. Elena puts her coat on and hands the high priest his. He takes it with a grunt and walks to the door. Aren't you forgetting something? She asks. I did not forget him, he says through clenched teeth. I meant to leave him behind. But he walks back, bends over my carrier bag, and zips it closed. Through the mesh, we exchange dirty looks. Then he picks the bag up and puts the strap over his shoulder. Hey, not so rough, I complain. Are we ready? Elena asks impatiently. Yes, we growl in unison. She sighs in relief.